Hello. Welcome to Adobe Live. I'm Elizé, your host for today. And today we have Elsa Amri, who's going to be working on a meal planning app. We're going to be designing together. And when I say together, I mean, I'm going to watch her and get her feedback with you guys. I want to just say hello to everybody who's live in the chat. Hello. Good to see you guys, Sam and Becca. Hello. Welcome, Sean. And Elsa, I'm excited to be doing this with you today. Let us know a little bit more about you, a little bit more about what we should expect to see today.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Very nice to meet everyone. And obviously, I'm so glad to be back here. Super exciting to be on Adobe Live again. So for those who haven't seen my previous sessions, my name is Elsa Amri, and I'm a visual designer from Tanzania. I can just jump straight into my little quick intro to give people a bit more information about myself. Actually, probably just scroll this way. So like I said, I'm a visual designer from Tanzania, and I've been working as a designer professionally. Actually, I would say it's 2 years now. I have to update that. It's been just over 2 years at this point, and I do graphics design, web design, app design, and most recently web development. So that's another thing I have to update on my little intro slide. So just a little quick recap of my journey to getting to where I am. I studied media at the University of Leeds, and then I spent a year working as an English teacher in Japan, kind of figuring myself out at that point. And I came back home to Tanzania, which is when I started kind of working as a designer and as an art director at different agencies. But what really helped me get an interest in design was actually participating in the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenges. They were just a fun way of practicing design skills, getting feedback from others, and it was just a really fun process. So I really owe Adobe XD and those Daily Creative Challenges a lot for inspiring me to kind of go down this road. And most recently, I completed my postgrad course in UX design at Humboldt College, and since then, I've been freelancing. So I'm a freelance visual designer at this point. Just a bit of like some projects I've worked on. So the one on the left, I feel like everyone's seen it. It's on like almost all my socials. It's probably my favorite project that I've ever done, which is like a redesign of the Last FM app. And the one on the right is a visual rebranding project I did. So this is just to show I kind of do a bit of both UI, UX, but also sometimes more branding and that type of work. But of course, I also do a lot of fun stuff on the side, so non-work related. I like to use XD to just come up with different cool, unique designs. So the one on the left was for a challenge on designing a video game website. And then of course, there's like a Snapchat resume on the top right that I did recently. And then this is an email newsletter. So I just kind of like to play around with XD and see what cool and creative concepts I can come up with in my free time. And of course, outside of design, because I mean, that's just part of who I am, and there are other parts of who I am as well. I'm super into board games and card games, into anime. I mentioned traveling as well. This is a picture from my time in Japan, and reading. So these are kind of just a couple different interests that I think also make me who I am as well. So it's super nice to meet everyone. Excited to kind of get into things. And of course, these are a bit of my socials if you wanted to connect as well.
Amazing. I'm excited to get to know a little bit more about your time in Japan. My mom's from Japan. So I just wanted, I'm excited to dive into that later on when you get comfortable. I'll start to ask you more questions. Your background is so interesting. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Of course. Scroll down here. So we have a day one outline. Since this is a 1-day stream, we're going to try and get as much done as possible in today's session. So these are just a couple really quick bullet points of what we are trying to aim to do. First being, I want to introduce the design focus. So what it is we're going to be doing and a bit more detail about that. And then there's a really mini style guide that I want us to complete as well, just to give us a bit more guidance going forward when it comes to colors and typography and components, etc. And then of course, we'll start working on our designs. And if we have time towards the end, we'll see if we can prototype a few screens. So this is our really brief day one outline. Okay, and then jumping into, so this is kind of more explanation on what we're focusing on today. So like Elizé mentioned, we'll be designing a meal planning app. So essentially an app that allows users to create meal plans. And I kind of came up with the idea because I like cooking. I wouldn't say I love it, but I like it. But I also find that I tend to kind of do the same recipes all the time. So I was like, dang, I wish I had a way to just map out what I wanted to cook each week or in a month. I feel like it would save me a lot of time in like Googling and finding recipes. So that's the inspiration for today's topic. And we want to, of course, take advantage of different XD features to help our work process go faster, like stacking and repeat grid, but I'll explain all those as we go through the design. And like I said before, if we have time towards the end, we'll also start prototyping some interactions between our screens.
I feel like this happened to me yesterday when I was grocery shopping. I was like, I just cook the same 3 meals every single time. So let's see what this app can do for me. I'm excited.
I do as well. So I was like, this has to stop. I need a way to like fix this habit. And of course, I forgot to mention target audience. I just put individuals who enjoy cooking and want an easy way to organize their meals regularly. So that's what we're going to have in mind. We want to go with a somewhat simple concept, but that's still effective as well. So when it comes to actually designing, I like to start out with a mood board. So just grab a couple different inspiration shots, mainly from Dribble or Behance and Instagram. I would say those are my main sources, but of course you can find inspo shots from really anywhere that you'd like. So these are a couple that I've collected. It's a mixture of food delivery apps and actual meal planning apps. So just a mix between the two. And I like to kind of go through them and pick out different key elements that I want to consider for my own design. So for instance, I think the ones on the top are like mainly food delivery because that's like pretty popular online. And what I like most, I think, about food centered apps is the use of visuals and the use of imagery. It's always like huge visuals, probably because the idea is to get people to want to buy the food, but we're going to go with the same approach in our app as well. I want to make sure that we really highlight the visuals of the different meals that we're going to include in our app.
You want those mouth-watering images. Like even just looking at that spaghetti, I was like, I'm hungry.
Exactly. Oh, I hope everyone's eaten because like I haven't eaten and I'm like, I don't know why.
Why'd you do this to me? You should have told me that we're gonna like be looking at these scrumptious little images. I'm like, I had a baby piece of toast. I'm ready for more now.
I should have had a warning beforehand. But these concepts are great. I think one core theme I'm seeing is that minimalism is like pretty key in a lot of these designs. So there's not a lot of detail to them. It's a lot of white space. And I think I want to go with that approach to a certain extent with the design we do today as well. I also just like, so these are some of the meal planning apps that I found, how they've kind of broken down some of the screens. So like this is an actual calendar. It looks like a calendar, but of course has the different meals included in it. So as we actually start building the design, we'll kind of reference these different shots and just identify what key elements that we want to include as well. And of course, right here, I have like a list of essentials just as a guide moving forward. I have like a couple of wireframes already of like key screens I wanted to include, but these are a couple of extras if we have time. So obviously we want a home screen. We want a profile screen / my plan. We'll kind of see how that goes. A menu search screen as well. And then of course a calendar. So a way for people to see their meal plan. And then of course an individual recipe or a meal. So details with ingredients, instructions, etc. And then shopping lists. Shopping list is actually, I think I saw it on one of these screens, probably this one, because I hadn't considered it before. And I was like, that would be really cool to include in this, just a little note shopping list feature. So you can add in all the ingredients from a recipe and then obviously use that when you actually go to the supermarket. So we'll try and include that as well.
So when you're like thinking about all those pages to create, how do you decide which ones to include or not include?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's really about, well, first of all, determining who you're designing for. So who your target audience is, the user group that you are aiming to create this product for, and what they might need. So there's obviously a lot you could do with any app. You can include a bunch of different features, but it's really more important to scale things down and think about what the actual key priorities are. So if someone's downloading a meal planning app, what are the, let's say, 3 to 4 main objectives they want to be able to accomplish using this app? So number one is going to probably be a way to schedule the meal. So like a calendar screen or something like that is pretty important. Number two might be just a way to keep track of the different ingredients they need for their meals, in which case a shopping list might be important to have. You know, it might be that you discover, if you're doing user research, that people also want a community element. So they want a way to create their own recipes and share them. So you might think, okay, how do we create a community element within our app? So that's also a priority. So that's kind of how I go about it. I focus more on what the user would want to prioritize when using the app.
Got it. Yeah, thanks for explaining that.
Yeah. So we have, before we dive into our wireframes, we probably want to get our style guide done and completed. So I like to first start out, I wonder what I should start with. I'll probably start with typography because I feel like colors, I could spend hours on colors. So, I mean, I'm not going to spend hours, I don't have hours to spend today, but we'll just pick something real quick. I have this guide here as a helping point, but we'll probably start out with typography. Yeah, and I'm curious like what people's favorite fonts are. I tend to find I always use the same fonts because I like them a lot. So we're probably going to use one that I've used a ton of times before here as well. It's just a matter of figuring what that might be.
What's the one you always use? I'm curious. Let's see. It's not Lato.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
No, I mean, Lado's one of them, but we're actually not going to use Lado. I was like,
Cocoa
I cannot
Goose.
use Lado. I use Lado. We're just like looking through my different weird font names.
I've never heard of this font. Cocoa Goose Classic.
Yeah, I have a lot of weird ones. I think one I've used recently that I'm like kind of obsessed with is actually, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Mangera, maybe. But I think I really like this one. So,
ooh, have not heard of this one either. Manguera,
yeah. So I like this. It's kind of cute. I like the design. I also wanted like a more rounded font as well, which this is. So we're gonna probably go with that. And so in creating our typography style guide, you just kind of want to identify the different sizes you're probably going to use in your design. And then I'll show you how we can add them to our document assets on the left here. So first, then we kind of just figure out what sizing I'm going to use.
So does this font have like, is it quite a large font family?
I think average size.
Decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not crazy.
Average size.
Yeah.
Cool. Good to know. Also, we have in our chat, we have Web Donut that just said hello. And we also have Hitesh, if you remember him from boot camp. We have Hitesh in the house as well. He says hello.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining.
Elsa was mentoring Hitesh in a boot camp that we did. And so it's exciting to see everyone come together. Reunion.
It is a reunion. I think I was actually 11 rather than 10 for this.
So when you're picking sizes, how do you decide this actual size that you want to use at this point?
At this point, I usually know what the range is when it comes to what it is I'm going to be designing. So in this particular design, I don't think I'll be using anything larger than 18 pixels. And the smallest size I use is 11, maybe 10 pixels if necessary, but not often. I think the smallest is 11. So I already have that range and I typically just kind of pick a bunch in between. So 18, 16, 14, 12, and then 11. So those tend to be the common ones, at least when I'm working. So I create those anyway. And then if there are any more that kind of pop up as we're working along, we'll kind of just add them to the list as well.
Got it. Okay, great.
I'm just gonna select all these and then click this plus icon and it'll add them to our character styles, which is awesome. And then of course, so these are all like regular font weight, but if you wanted to create more styles, like let's say you're going to be using medium a lot, you can do that and it'll create a character style that's medium font weight, but the same font size as well. So I might do Yeah, okay. I might do mediums as well. And maybe bowls.
We have a question from Sean that he's asking, is a rounded font the best to use with food? uh, was there any was the rounded feeling something that you thought about in association with food?
That's such a good question. The relationship between rounded fonts and food. I don't think it was the food. I think it was more like the overall style. So I mentioned I wanted to go for this more minimal approach and rounded squares. So because of that, that's why I'm leaning more towards a rounded font face. Also icons as well. I don't really want to use like straight edged icons. I want to use rounded ones too. So that's probably why. Not so much like the actual food involved. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, rounded shapes feel friendlier. And, we're trying to welcome people into the food experience. And exactly. I don't know, also, I feel very round when I eat a lot of food. So there is that association.
There's that link too.
Sean said he was just playing, but I feel like that's a good question.
Have our character style, so we just have like. It is though. I mean, it is a valid question. There's always reasons behind your own choices, even if you're not aware of them. There's probably like some kind of reasoning behind it.
Yeah, subconsciously.
Exactly. Okay. So now we're just gonna pick some colors. I'm gonna pick something that I'm gonna try to not change. And I want to use a palette that I don't normally use, which means not really pastels. I think I want, so going back to a mood board, which is another reason why mood boards are great. I do like the contrast between like a darker color and a lighter color. So for instance, here it's black and pink, which I think looks really good. So I'm also thinking about that. Like if I can pick a dark color like this one, is this like maroon? I think I call it maroon. So a maroon color and then a light counterparts to it as well.
We're getting some questions from Sean about this color inspo. Where did you get this inspiration from here?
This is an image. Oh gosh, I wish I could remember where it's from. I'd probably find the link if I reverse Google image searched it, but it was from an article, I think probably about picking your color palette. But I can't remember what the actual article is, but definitely hit me up later on. I will find out what the article is. But the reason why I picked it as a way of identifying my colors is number one, it has colors I don't normally use. So I wanted to go for something that's outside the norm of what I typically do. And I like that it just showcased. So you'll notice a lot of colors are the same. So this purple and this purple, but it's just showing you them in different combinations. So I kind of thought it would help when it comes to feeling inspired.
Yeah, I love that you're challenging yourself a little bit with some colors you don't normally use. I think that's kind of a fun little internal challenge for a designer. Maybe when you've accomplished a lot and then you're like, okay, I want to like continue to like make this a little more interesting for myself.
Exactly.
So what are you doing here?
That's the goal. So now I'm trying to pick different shades of my main colors. So these are my two base colors, primary and secondary. And I like to kind of have a couple of different shades of both because sometimes you might need a lighter version of your color. Sometimes you might need a darker version. So it helps to have a couple of different shades on hand. Actually, I might put them in the center and have like 2 darker shades and 2 lighter shades. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. I play around with the saturation and brightness to get the different shades, but I think there are also online tools that can quite literally map them out for you as well. So it just depends. So I want like 2 darker colors. Since this is already really dark, we're gonna try to not go too dark. Otherwise, that's pretty much black. Well, yeah. Kind of move it there, and then we'll have like 2 lighter versions too.
We have pie. Sean says now he wants pie, and I feel like once you start showing food imagery, like now everything is food. Like I'm like, do I want a plum pie now that I'm looking at this purple? It's interesting to see subconsciously what food choices we'll make today after today's session.
Yes, exactly. And we haven't even gone into the nitty gritty. Like when we actually
I
pull out
know.
those food images, everyone's gonna be hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never played with an app that's like purple and orange as my two main colors. So I'm excited to see how these, and it's not very common either. So I feel like it's going to be cool to see how these play out together.
I agree. So, okay, yeah, I think we'll settle on our purple and our orange. So I'm just gonna add these as well to my document assets so we can reference them. And once you add them, you'll notice I already have a group for grayscale colors, but I can also group these and label them. So we'll say purple and then do the same for orange as well.
And so you just select those all on the right, and then you're selecting, all on the left-hand side in the document assets. When you're adding them, what are you doing to make them into a group?
So to make them into a group, you'd, for example, click the first one, and then you can hold shift and click the last one you want added to the group. So it selects the first one and the last one and the ones in between. And then you can right click and go new group from selection.
That's
awesome. How you can do it. Great. And you can also delete them same way as well.
Super cool.
So I also added them here as well, just because sometimes I use this color wheel a lot more than my document asset. So, but I've only added my base colors. I don't think I'll be using the lighter and darker versions super often, but if necessary, we can add those in later as well. But yeah, so this is our style guide done. And now we can dive into our design. So I've done a couple of wireframes because I find that they're helpful in, well, exploring the concept that you're creating. And then of course, when you actually start designing for high fidelity, it just makes that process easier. So we have a home screen, menu screen, search, profile, recipe, and oops, I think this one's meal plan overview. So we'll kind of try to get through these screens. Might do one more screen for like actually editing your meal plan, depending on how time goes. But I also want to make sure we have time to prototype as well. But yeah, we'll kind of dive right into this. I'll just drag the home screen to here and then work from there.
So you already created all the wireframes previous today. And do you typically, like for your process for wireframes, what does that look like?
So typically there are, what do you call them? Plugins in XD that I like to use as a starting point. So kind of just as a way to mock up concepts really quickly. So the one in particular I like using is, let me see if I can find it. I have like a bunch of plugins. Quick Mockup is one that I like to use. And I think there's one within another plugin. I can't remember what the name of it was, but Quick Mockup is probably the one that I use most often. So I'd start with that. And then depending on how specific the design is that I'm going for, I'll just kind of take some key elements and move them around, change them around. But really my main priority, I don't want to be too detailed. So you can see, for example, here, like there's a bit of detail, but not that much, because I know when I'm actually designing the high fidelity concepts, I'll probably change things around depending on how it looks with the colors and the typography. So this is just more like really stripped down outline that you can use going forward.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. So using Quick Mockup or finding little UI kits to start your wireframes, so you don't have to build everything from scratch. They're already pre-designed and pre-created from someone else, and you can kind of just utilize those assets for your own design.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
And I don't know if I'm the only one. I like have to design with the actual preview open with mobile apps. I don't know why. It's like I can't do it otherwise. So that's like a fun thing about me.
Cool.
Anything?
I've never seen that. So I like that. It's your little
I'm
design
not recommending it. Not
I'm gonna try it
exactly.
out
It's a quirk.
sometime.
I'm like, I can't like understand if it looks good until I see it on the preview screen. So it's just there permanently. And I'm also gonna turn out layout just so it gives us a reference point. I use it also when I was kind of creating the mockups, but I'm also gonna keep it on when designing the high fidelity prototype. So
okay, so you keep your grid on.
Yes. And then you can adjust it accordingly, but this is the one that I typically use. So we're gonna use that going forward. So we have 18 pixels on the left and right as spacing, which I think is good.
So now you're going through the wireframe and just, it looks like you're changing out the typography.
Yes. So because I have like some of the text already here that I don't think I want to change at this point, I'm just kind of going in and changing them using our character styles. So that's kind of also another reason why it kind of makes it a lot faster to do it that way. And then towards the end of the screen, once I've changed out like typography, I'll start adding in the imagery and colors, etc.
Okay. So first step is typography. You're going through selecting them and changing it on the left-hand side with your character styles there.
Yes.
And then you're adjusting as well over on the right-hand side in the property inspector.
Yeah. So for instance, we don't have semi-bold saved. I mean, I can include it later if I want, but if I need to use it, I just kind of select one here, and then you can also change the font weight. You can change the font weight and your font face using the arrow keys as well. You don't have to kind of click the drop down. So that's also something that makes the process faster.
Ooh, great little tip. So just changing the weight on the right-hand side with our little arrow keys. And also, we have a question from Enlightened Swami, which is, how do we open preview? If you can just show that again really quickly.
Yeah. So it's this play icon here on the top right. So if you click that, if I close this, it'll open, and then you can also resize it if you want. This kind of fits the size of the screen I'm using, so I'm gonna leave it as is. And then you can also record your prototype when you're done designing. So a lot of cool stuff you can do with preview. I'm actually gonna add a lighter gray because I think the lightest gray I have in my palette is not light enough. So I'm gonna add in like a lighter version by setting brightness to 95. And then I also want to just make sure I add that to my palette as well. So drag that in here and in here.
And what are those little gray circles right now? What do those represent?
So I think I'm gonna want to put the menu icon and search icon in here. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I have like a couple of icons. I get icons two different ways. There's the plugin, what's it called? Icons for Design that I use a lot. But also because we're going with like a rounded concept this time, I use a lot of font awesome icons that I found online. So I've got them saved in the folder and we'll probably use those mainly. But in case of anything extra, I typically like to use Icons for Design.
Okay, great.
Actually, this. Okay, so for example, here, view all, I wanna also add in like a little arrow as well. So, I mean, arrow is kind of like a pretty standard icon, so I'm probably just gonna use Icons for Design for that. And you can see it kind of provides you with a lot of different versions, and it tells you where they're from as well, which is helpful. But I want one, I'm gonna go with one of these. So you just have to click it and then it'll pop into whatever artboard you've selected. And then we can drag it and resize it.
So it seems like you work first from, like changing out the text from your wireframe, and then you go into iconography, or are you more so going through buttons, or what's that next step for you when you're going through it?
So changing text, then changing any of these, like you said, little elements that we have. So like our buttons, and then probably color would be next. Color and imagery can kind of alternate depending. I have a couple images already saved, but I find that it's easier to just have everything set. And in particular for the explore section, we're going to be using repeat grids. I want to show you guys a cool neat trick of how you can kind of dump in images into your repeat grid in a faster way. So we're going to leave that for last too.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to use, actually, I think I might change the text. So I want to use view all for explore, but I want it to say something different here. So to avoid having to resize, so if I change this, for example, it's kind of a bit tedious to then have to resize it and move it. What we can actually do is select our text and our arrow and group them, and then select our new grouped element. Let me actually open my layers and the rectangle and group that. And then this, and then apply padding. So that basically means that the rectangle will adjust according to whether we increase or decrease our text. So if I change this to view all recipes, it'll extend the length of the text for us, so we don't have to actually resize or move anything.
Yeah, that's great. And for people who aren't clear on how to group, how do you group, or what are the ways that you do it?
Yeah, so you can either, so if I use this, let me ungroup this, select whatever elements you want. So you can select one element, hold shift and select the other, or I technically drag a lot if it's all in one space. So just click and drag and it'll select all the elements that you drag over. And then Command G is a shortcut for grouping, or you can right click and click group here. Either option.
Great. Yeah, thanks for showing us how you do it.
Of course.
Sean says, bring in the top tips. Bringing them top tips, Elsa, on a Tuesday.
Top tips.
Top tip Tuesday.
Top tip Tuesday. Oh gosh. Okay. Let me finish this section out. I think this, I might actually write it out. 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's so important, because for me, I'm always like, I don't want to spend more than 30 minutes ideally. Exactly. So 15-minute meal is great.
Perfect. Exactly. So we want to just kind of think, what's the most relevant information for someone? And I agree, meal time is very important. I also want to add in stars for difficulty. Actually, I'm like debating whether I want to actually list out what the difficulty is, or if I just want the star. But I'm going to start out with the star. See, for example, this is like pointy. I don't really want a pointy star. Let's look for this is also a pointy star. I wonder if we have like non-pointy stars. Yay. Okay, here we go. That's what we want.
So Sean brings up a good question, which is the time when the food is ready, or is that how much time it takes to prep it? Or so actual
I was
cooking
thinking
time?
How much time it takes to prep and cook it. So like overall time. is what I was thinking. But I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Like, what would you prefer to see? Like prep time or cook time or both?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe people in the chat can let us know what they think. Because I guess for me, what matters is more of the cook time, like the actual time it takes to prepare it. And I don't mind if it takes like an hour in the oven, as long as I don't have to like work on it all that much. So,
right.
I guess for me would be total. I don't know, but I think probably the average or the thing that you see most often is the total time.
Yeah.
So that probably makes sense.
Or like I have seen, so for example, on this screen, we're like only putting in like key information. So we can't put all the details, but if you go on to the recipe screen, then it might have a breakdown for you, like prep time, cook time, and then total time. So that might also be a neat idea to do.
Yeah. And he has just said that like when a person opens the recipe page, we can show both.
Yeah, he actually did a meal planning app. That's why he's an expert. He's like got all the
he's like
the knowledge.
I know what to do here.
Exactly. Okay, actually I don't need to do these. So I think this is fine. And what I'm gonna do is just group that and turn on repeat grid on the top right here. So that basically means as I drag these handlebars, it's gonna create duplicates of, my design. And then obviously we only want it horizontally. We don't need more vertically. So we're only gonna drag it this way. Yeah, so there is fine. And then when you click in between here, you can adjust the spacing between elements. So actually 20 pixels works. So I'm gonna leave it as that. Okay, awesome. So I think now, before we do our visuals, let me add in some color. So I think I want the bottom navigation to be our lovely purple that we have.
I like it already.
We are already fans. Like put in one color element. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go in. It is. I'm gonna go in and add our icons. So I think I'm gonna go with the home icon first on the left. So just click and drag that. They're all from Font Awesome, which is a pretty great resource for free icons, if anyone is curious.
Okay, great. So you already pre-downloaded these from Font Awesome.
Yes. And I'm actually going to add in like text, accompanying text, just because I've heard that it's better for accessibility reasons to indicate what the icon is as opposed to just a visual indicator. So we're going to add in supplementary text for them as well and just make them really small. And then so we have home. Let me just add in like all the ones I probably want to use. So home, I think a calendar one I already said. A meal one, I was actually debating with the meal one because I wanted them all to have like a squarish shape. So I was like, I don't know if the utensils work. So we're gonna go with like this bowl of rice for now. And then because that fits. And our last one was, oh yeah, profile. Okay.
I just realized like I've never seen a bowl of rice icon. It kind of looks like an afro or something, like
not as much rice. This is the kind of thing you'd hear if you did user testing. They'll be like, I didn't know that was a meal icon. I thought it was a man with an afro. Like, oh, dang, okay.
Well, especially when it's so big. It's like head shaped.
True. Okay. Okay, so we have our meal plan icon. And for the inactive ones, I'm just gonna give them an outline.
Mm.
And make
Yeah, you want to have like
semi-bold.
a visual, like you want something to differentiate when you're on that actual page or that screen versus not. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. And then our bowl of rice. And add that in. And one thing you can actually do here that will probably save time, actually, I will probably do it, is add in guides. Because you'll see I'm trying to make sure that they're all the same height, but it'll be much easier using guides. So I'm just dragging from the top of my screen. When you get to the top, if you have guides turned on, if guides are turned off, just go to view guides. And I think there's probably an option to turn them on, but they're already on for me. And then you can just drag from the top to where you want the guide to be, or from the left if you want a vertical guide.
Yeah, that's a helpful tip. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to spend so much time trying to make sure these are all the same height and
Yeah,
make sure
exactly.
my designs look nice and clean. Yeah, that icon looks definitely a lot less like a head now.
Now
When
that
it's
it's like
tiny.
appropriately.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Crisis averted. That's good. Okay, awesome. So I think bottom nav is done. Now I'm just grouping them because I want to space them out evenly. So I'm just move this to the left. And then what you can do is select the different elements you want spaced out. So recipes, profile, and then click this icon here on the top right. So that'll distribute them horizontally so they're equally spaced. Yep. And then, yeah, that's it. And I'm just going to group that and probably turn it into a component. Actually, yeah, because we're going to use it quite often.
Okay, cool. And it's also like really, yeah, cool to see the preview as you're designing and seeing kind of how that comes together from more of a macro view of the screen. So I like this little preview trick.
Yay.
Yeah.
More preview users.
Are you a preview designer?
Okay. And now I really just have to do my top section. So I'm actually thinking that on the right here, so before our icons, I want to add in a date indicator because I'm thinking if this is a meal plan for like scheduling, it might help to just see the day instantly on your homepage. So when you log in or open the app. So I'm going to include something for that here. I'm going to use today's date. Okay, yeah, 2nd August.
I just want to let people know if they are just joining or joining recently. We are about 43 minutes into our stream today for a 2-hour stream. And thus far, Elsa has walked us through her style sheet or her style guide where she's picked out colors and typography. She already had designed wireframes, so the general structure of her screens that she wanted to create before today's session. And she used some plugins like Quick Mockup or some other UI kit plugins to create that general structure. So she didn't create everything from scratch. And then now what she's doing is applying the actual visual design to it, the colors, the typography, iconography, and starting to make that like final feel of the design now.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm actually, yeah, I think I'll leave it like that. Okay, so we have our search icon, and then for the menu icon, I think I'm actually just gonna draw it. I'm gonna go with the hamburger menu. Draw that out, and then probably just make it slightly thicker, so 1.2 border size, and you can also combine it. So if you're creating a custom shape and you want to finalize it, you can use this feature to combine it. That way, now it's one final shape that I can move around. And just make sure it's rounded.
I would say, yeah, that icon is probably one of the easiest icons to make. So if you are like, I'm scared to make icons, start with that one.
Exactly.
Boost up your ego and then move on to maybe that search icon.
Exactly. Actually,
do you ever make other icons yourself, or do you typically find them?
I have made icons before. So I remember I did it once, just more like practice for myself. Like, ooh, can I actually make this as an icon? And then I think the star icon, you can make custom star icons in XD without actually looking for one. It's pretty easy using the triangle tool. I don't think I have many stars I'm going to be using today, but you can do that in XD itself. So I've done it that way, but actually not too often. I find it to be kind of difficult. I don't know. I'm really impressed by anyone who's able to make icons really easily.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my forte, and I don't think I plan on really like making that part of my process. I'm like, I'm someone that's like, why create anything when something else has already been created out there that's good, and I can just like edit it a little bit to make it more customized for myself. But I am like a very lazy designer. That should be like, if I had a new Instagram, it would just be lazy designer, and it'd be like all the laziest hacks to get something done quickly and cute and quick.
I feel like people would love that. How to get this done quickly. Okay. So now I decided I wanted to spruce up our upcoming meals a bit. So I've just added in like time. So kind of like a daily summary type thing. So just to make it look a bit more interesting, probably add dashes here. And we can group this and drag it for another section.
Okay, so cute. I don't know why, but I love a good dotted line.
Me too. I don't use them a lot, but
yeah, you don't use them all, but when you do and you see them out in the wild, it's like, oh, that's cute.
That looks good. Exactly.
Yeah, but use sparingly. You don't want like too many dotted lines everywhere, but
use them when necessary is the goal. Okay, I think that's done. And yeah, we can just kind of, okay, this is 9:30. So this is lunch, and then let's say at 12:30. Oh, actually, this is breakfast. We're gonna have our lunch, and I'll just kind of shift those so they're equally spaced. Okay, awesome. So I mentioned before I have like a couple different recipes that I've already stocked up on. So we can just drag and drop them in. And like I said, I like cooking. I don't love it, and I'm not an experienced chef. So I'm going to be coming up with really random names for these, and they're probably going to be wrong. I'm going to go with an easy one. Like, this is chicken wings. I can say this is chicken wings. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's pretty safe to say. Yes.
The others, okay, this is ramen of some sort. Okay. We'll go with these. Although chicken wings for breakfast, that's very funny. Okay, well, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with that.
Have you ever had chicken wings for breakfast?
I don't know. And is that red?
Yeah, yeah. I like my chicken wings with ranch.
No, actually don't think I have, unless it's leftovers.
Well, I've definitely done, I've done weird things for breakfast for leftovers, especially when I'm hungover. I'm just, I'm like, what did we have last night? Pizza left outside? Yeah, I'll eat that for breakfast. That's like when I've had some weird items.
Same. That's the beauty of your own personal meal plan. No one can know except you what you're planning to eat at odd times of the day.
Yeah, this is definitely like my hungover day list of items I would eat, like chicken wings for breakfast and then ramen for lunch.
Oh my God. Okay. So now for our repeat grid, actually what I can do is I can select, so we have 3 different containers here. I can select my 3 different images and then just drag them and they will drop right in there.
I just love a good drag and drop. Oh my gosh, it's like all put together almost. Magic. Design magic.
Exactly. Quick and easy.
I like how what we're eating for our lunch is really unhealthy.
I believe this is fish.
And everything that's exploring is like really like very healthy looking. It's like telling us we should eat healthier.
Perhaps. I mean, I'm hoping this is going to inspire me to eat healthier, but like, I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner today. So that should already tell you that I'm not on the right track of like what I'm aiming for here.
Mm-hmm. It looks like turmeric salmon. Yes, that does look like turmeric salmon. Yum.
I actually do want to include ooh, awesome. I was like, I don't even know what that means. Okay, this is a salad, meat and cheese salad. And then this one, actually, ooh, it's like avocado toast. That looks really good.
Your camera froze for just a second, and for like 30 seconds or something. But so people are commenting on it. But what I'll say is like it was a really good pause moment for you, like a frozen moment. Like you had a nice smile. I also like sometimes when mine is frozen, it's always like the weirdest picture. I'm like, no, don't freeze on that one. Internet.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad it wasn't a bad frozen moment. Phew. Okay. Okay, so our home screen is done.
Ooh, so clean, but I like the pop of orange and the purple together. Yep. It's like, I'm liking those. I was wondering how you're going to put those two together, and I'm liking it.
Yeah. So we're going to use, I mean, purple will be our main, but we'll add in orange here and there, like a sprinkle of it. But yeah. Okay. So now that we've done our home screen, I'm actually doing the search screen first, and then because that's kind of going to be using a lot of similar elements to what we've already created in our home screen. So for search, let me just go ahead and grab this icon and place it here. Lift that up. Okay. So instead of just having the search screen be blank, what we actually want to do is kind of offer like recommendations and suggestions so that it feels like the screen is more alive. We're going to have like mini subcategories here to help people in their search as well. So that's kind of what we're going to go for.
Yeah, that's a nice point of like, instead of going to search and it's just like a blank slate, like a Google search, it's like, it kind of gives you some inspiration and maybe you don't have to even use the search. you can kind of filter through.
Exactly.
Because like, honestly, I don't know what I would search for when I want to make something. I'd be like, oh, greasy food, or like, I don't know what I'd search. So I love like scrolling through and then finding inspiration of what I feel like eating from the imagery.
Yes, same. I feel like that's kind of like the best way to go about it. And these, okay. So I'm actually gonna group them and stack them. So this basically means it's gonna ensure anytime we add a new element to this group, it's gonna make sure it's equal distance. So if I copy salad and add it, it's gonna create a new salad element that's 10 pixels far apart from the last one, because our stack distance is set to 10 pixels, or we can make it 20 and it'll increase the distance. We can make it 0 and they'll be right next to each other. So it's kind of just helpful that way. Okay, just select all these and change our font. Yeah, I think 12 works. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'll go with 12. And one thing I think that I forgot to mention, but that is probably useful. So you'll see here, if I click this, it's gonna select the group. But sometimes I think, especially for me, I want to click things and get to them quickly. I don't want to have to double or triple click to get into something, especially if it's like a group in a group in a group. So one good tip is if you hold Command and click into an element, it'll click, I believe it's like the lowest element within your group. So in this case, it's the text, and it'll click that directly. So that's just a cool tip. Saves you time if you have like really complex groups in your design.
Yeah, I think that's like a really helpful tip, because that's probably one of the biggest frustrations people have when they start designing is like groups, trying to manage groups and creating too many groups. And then like, where is this one item on my screen? You know, I feel like that was my biggest frustration when I first started. I would have like the craziest like spider web groups.
Spiderweb groups. Oh my gosh.
It's like a web of just awful, like just too much happening. Hard to manage.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, okay. Cool. So we have recommended for you. Let's do the same thing. I just don't even know if I have enough recipes left. Ooh, maybe I do. I do. Okay, I have these 3.
Ooh.
So okay. I'm gonna ask the audience to help me come up with names. I'm like abandoning naming at this point, or like leaving it till the end.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys are looking at some of these images and you're like, oh, I know what that is, or just like make up something that sounds good to you and we can put those in there. I can't really tell what that first image is. I can see the rice, but what else is on that? Can you zoom in?
It's like rice and something. I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, so
it looks good though.
Okay, we're not sure. So yeah, think about what that could be. Ooh, it doesn't get any clearer when you go closer. Oh, figure out what is that? Well, it's just like looks like a mush pile. I don't know. So yes, think about what that could be and what we could label it. Looks delicious. Delicious mush.
Delicious mush. That's what we should call it. Oh my god.
I'm kind of more about those desserts on the left-hand side is what I'll say.
Yes. Because I don't think I have desserts saved. So I like to use this plugin called Pre-Stock Search for XD, and you can just search for anything and it'll give you a lot of different image options. So
Noor from the chat said that it's best to have dessert first. So I think this is a special section for them. Also, they gave us a title, Divine Rice. That sounds That sounds real fancy.
That does sound real fancy. Oh my
I
God.
would be very curious. Like, what is divine rice? And we still don't know. Is that a real dish?
That sounds amazing. Oh my God. Okay. So now I have like these categories just to switch things up a bit. Gonna have these categories, and then in our lovely categories, we're gonna have like a name and instead of time, I wonder what it should be. Probably how many recipes is in the category. But just to make sure the text is seen on top of the image, I'm just adding in like a gradient overlay for it.
Okay, got it. Yeah, legibility is so important when we think about oftentimes we do lay text on top of imagery. So it's like we have to think about how do we make it so that people can see both and read it well.
Exactly. I don't know, let's call this summer desserts.
That does look like a summer dessert.
Yeah. And decrease this opacity. And then for these and create another one. This is just 2. I don't think I need to use repeat grid. Now for our next one, actually want a different category. I'm like, what's a popular food category?
Decadent. That first one.
Wait, what's first one? Is it this one?
That first one, yeah. Decadent desserts.
Oh my God, this looks like my teeth would fall out of my mouth. It looks good though. It's like honey or syrup.
It's caramel. That's caramel. Of course.
Oh,
I love caramel. I'm a caramel girl. That's why I was like, caramel dribbled all over that ice cream. Okay.
Decadent desserts. Okay, wow.
I was quick with that one, huh? I was like, I know what to label it.
You're like,
I know what images to use because I saw it when you put it up. I was like, all those desserts look so good.
Oh my God, you're on it. Okay. Awesome. What else did I do? So we done our home screen. Let me actually flip through them. Here's our home screen and here's our search screen. Yay. So we're actually doing this pretty quick. So I'm wondering, so we still have our search screen. No, menu screen, sorry. Profile, recipe, and meal plan overview. I think actually
Let's do the recipe. Let's do the recipe.
Oh. Ooh, okay. The audience has said, let's do the recipe. Audience, i.e. Elizé.
I'll speak for I knew that's what they were thinking. I'm just excited
what they wanted.
About this page. I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Okay. So I actually did prepare a recipe in advance because I didn't want to have to sit here and make this stuff up. So we have our chicken recipe that we're gonna be taking the text from to use. Okay, yeah, starting with ingredients. So going back to our design, I think this image is the one I think I grabbed from Unsplash for chicken recipe. So we're gonna go with this. It looks really nice.
Placing a rectangle in and then dragging the image. Ooh, it does look so good.
Okay, we have our nice little chicken recipe. Okay.
That's fancy chicken soup.
That's like 5-star restaurant chicken soup, not like your average.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can make that swirl. Maybe some of the other designers here would be like, "Oh, I could easily." I'm like, no, I'm not gonna make that swirl. That soup.
Oh my God. And okay, we want to add in like a heart icon, which can be for favorites or like saved recipes, depending. And let's say we did have this in our favorite. So we're gonna go with our little orange.
That orange is so cute in that heart.
It is.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Warms my heart. We have a good question from Alasan, which they just arrived. So we are about just a little over halfway through our stream today. We have a 2-hour stream. Elsa has shown us how she finds colors and typography, how she has created the general visual style and feel, and then she had wireframes that she already created before this that she used with a plugin called Quick Mockup. And then now she's just applying those colors and the typography and the images that she found earlier and applying it to the wireframe design now. And that's where we are today.
Yeah.
Or in this moment. Also,
Yeah.
disclaimer, if you came in hungry, you're going to be hungrier. So just this will inspire you to eat today. I have been feeling my stomach growling. Some coffee now.
Just a warning. Think of what you're going to order or cook after the stream. Okay, let's say this like medium difficulty.
That looks hard, but that's okay. Just kidding.
But that looks very complicated.
That looks like a blender is involved, or like
okay, let's say this is hard. That's like
hard.
Advanced.
That's advanced.
The most advanced chicken.
Yes, this is more accurate, and you know what? Some people are up for that challenge.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, I like that they have like a little. Is that the social media for the chef?
Yes, exactly. So I'm gonna grab like an image here.
Oh, I like that.
So another plugin that I use, user profile, gives you random photos of people, so that's what we're gonna use.
We'll see who it is.
Okay,
oh, they're a secret.
Like a silhouette.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I think this works.
He looks like a very cool chef.
It looks like a very cool.
You know what?
Chef, yes.
He looks like someone who would have a soup that's called the most advanced chicken soup ever for cool people.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, cool chef. Thank you. And then let me go back here. I'm just gonna add in like a little hourglass icon here for our time.
You're gonna make it orange? What are you gonna make it?
I wonder how it look orange. I think because of the gray. Actually, what gray is this? I might just have to make it black or our nice little purple.
Yeah, time is important, but it's also like not the most important. Yeah.
It could depend on like what they're trying to achieve, because we actually don't really have purple in this page. We might later on, but I'll leave it like that for now. So we have the most advanced chicken soup by Cool Chef, hard difficulty. Oh, it can't be 12 minutes if it's hard.
The most difficult 12 minutes of your life. Are you up for the challenge? Kind of interesting.
Are you prepared? Oh my God. Oh wow. Okay, let me make this smaller and maybe a bit darker.
Okay. Sam calls it the most technologically advanced soup. I would be so curious what that means.
Right?
What is a technologically I can't even say it. Technologically
advanced soup. Like, what is that?
Nora says 2 days. I love that. She'd be like 2 days and 7 hours. What? Yeah, it's hard.
Oh my God.
Worth it.
Yeah, this is worth it. Oh my God. Wow.
Well, it does always like make
Okay.
me feel really excited when someone's like, oh, we've been cooking this beef for the last 15 hours. And it's like, oh, it's going to be good then, you know?
True, true. You're like,
No,
dang, okay.
but I would never do that myself. I mean, I guess, a crock pot. Do you ever crock pot?
I don't think I ever have. I just don't have the patience.
The good thing about the crock pot is like you can just put a bunch of things together in a pot and you don't do that much prep. You just chop a couple things, put some stuff in, and then you just leave it all day. And I don't do it that often, but when I have, it's like kind of nice because again, I'm someone who just really hates the meal prep and cutting and putting. I don't like anything technologically advanced. I'll say that.
The easier, so the better.
I like just throw things together, throw it in a pot, see what happens.
I think I'm the same. Definitely. I would not be.
No, go ahead.
I said I would not be saving this chicken soup to my meal plan at all.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, what? Yeah, but if it did say 5-minute meal prep, 2 days cooking, I'd be like, sure. I'll just sit inside the crock pot for 2 days. Sure, I could mess with that.
I can do that. Oh my God.
Just smell it in the house for 2 days, though. That would be the hard part. You'd be like, oh, that smells so good. I just want to eat it right now.
Yeah, I don't know how people have the patience. Just like, I want the food now.
Norris, you be cracking them jokes. Norris said because you have to catch the chicken first. So first part of this technologically advanced soup is to catch a chicken.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That could take up to 6 hours.
We're starting from the beginning. Wow. Okay.
This is advanced.
This is advanced. This is an advanced recipe for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. What was adding? Ginger. I have our little ingredients. I don't think I'm gonna add all of them. Maybe like 2 more. Okay. Chicken broth. 6 cups. I like never follow recipes to the T though. I'll like look at it and then just wing it basically, because I'm always like, I don't have 6 cups of chicken broth, so let me just wing it with like 4 cups and 2 cups of water and like see how that tastes.
Totally. My recipes are never consistent one day to the next. Like the first time, like one day my husband will be like, this is really good. The next one he'll be like, this is fine. He'll be like, make that again. It was so good. And I'll make it again. And he's like, oh, tastes different. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I winged it. And he's someone who's so precise. Like when he cooks, it's like excruciating for me. He's like, let me get the measurement exactly. And I was like, no, it's fine. You could eyeball a tablespoon. You could eyeball a cup and a half.
Exactly though. Just wing it and it tastes even better. Okay, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it tastes good. Some days it's edible.
Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not. But that's what keeps life interesting.
Agreed. Okay, we have salt and ground black pepper, a pinch of ground black pepper. Okay, awesome. So we have our ingredients and I have like a picture I might use to get the visuals, but I'm just gonna add in our instructions and then go back in for the actual imagery.
Were you thinking like real photos or for those areas?
I was, because I think also I saw like a couple ideas on our mood board. So I like this kind of imagery a lot where it's like just a picture of the food on like a nice gray background. I don't think I have enough images for that, but I do have like one stock photo image from Adobe stock in particular. So as you can see here, I don't know how many ingredients in here are in a recipe.
Doesn't matter.
But we can just say strawberries. We'll just like Exactly.
It's
2 pounds of
technologically
strawberries.
advanced. You don't know. There's some crazy things up
You
in
don't
here.
know.
You don't know what to expect with this recipe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a really good point of how to find like images where you have the same background again and again.
Yeah.
Is through Adobe Stock, and you can find
Yeah.
like group images like you found right there. And I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everyone knows this, but in Adobe Stock, you have the option to filter through and find free imagery. So not everything you have to pay for. And I use that a ton because I don't want to pay for it right now. If it's just a personal project, why pay for it? So
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's a great option.
It's a good tip. Okay, so we have our, it says not grouped. So we're gonna group these. I keep selecting this. Let me lock this. So I have like my white layer that I keep selecting when I'm trying to select other stuff. So I'm just gonna lock that here on the side. So that means I can't select it anymore. And then
yeah, so in the layers panel, there's like that little lock, and it's hard to see that little lock unless you hover over, right? Or how do you find the lock?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. You can't see it unless you hover over, or you can also right click something, I believe. Yeah. And there's like lock or Command L is also an option. So lots of different shortcuts.
Yeah. And don't forget, once you lock, to unlock if you need to move it, because that's happened to me. Like lock something like, why does this move? And then you find out that, oh yeah, I locked that. So
I forgot. Yes, don't forget. Okay, so we have our little steps here, and I added stacks. So every time we add a new one, it like drops below accordingly. So let's do like 3 steps, even though I think it's like a 5-step recipe, but we'll just do the 3.
This is advanced, so we know it's going to be like 32 steps. So we don't have to do all 32.
Read more.
Read 32 more steps.
Page 1 of 10.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Sounds like a nightmare.
I love designing like for something that's really ridiculous.
It is,
but
fun. It
could be real.
Could be, yes, exactly.
Like masterclass.
So, yes, I agree.
This was looking really nice.
Yeah, we have our little. So since the screen is longer, it requires scrolling. So we're actually going to select our component and select the checkbox fixed position. So when we scroll, it scrolls with us.
So the bottom navigation menu, that group, you've selected fixed position over on the right.
Yes. Let me just make sure to select recipes here. Awesome. And then of course, if you want more space on the bottom, you just have to kind of, the more you increase it, the lower it will go. So you can adjust that as well. And yeah, okay. I might just do like maybe the first 2 foods just to show how we can add in that imagery to our lovely ingredients. So I'm gonna drag in, actually, garlic. We drag in this image, and you can see it's tiny. We don't really want it like that, but we can double click into it until you're selecting the image as opposed to the container. And then we can increase it in size until we get like the food that we want. So I know for a fact that's probably not garlic, but we're gonna pretend it's garlic for the sake of
that looks like Parmesan cheese.
It's garlic today.
I like that. Oh, I like that little thin white line there.
Yeah,
outline.
I feel like without it, it's kind of exactly just fades into the abyss. So we're gonna add in that line. I'll do one more for carrots just because I have another Adobe stock image for carrots, which I liked. So this is like vegetables. thought this was very cute. So we're gonna add in a little image, increase it in size, and then zoom in till we see our carrots. And same thing, just add in a nice light border.
Not gonna lie, that carrot looks a little like orange.
It's just the screen quality. It's a carrot, guys.
Okay, do another one. Do another one. I don't know why, but this is so fun. Pop in another one.
Okay, another.
Just for you, whichever one.
Okay, let's do a switching right here. Okay, let's do another large zoom right
The
in.
avocado.
Let's grab like a random. This looks like. Where's the avocado?
Oh, I meant do another one to place the photo in because I was like, I want to see that avocado in there.
Wait, okay.
It was in the same
Chicken
carrot
broth.
one.
For visual purposes, for chicken broth, we are in fact using an avocado.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's not working. Oh. Yeah. And we are back and we got the avocado in. I think I broke your screen because I asked for that avocado and maybe it's blasphemy to try to put that in advanced chicken soup. I don't know.
Yeah, my internet was like, nope, we are not doing that.
I like how you like got through things though, and you like added more since we saw you. Looks good.
Exactly. Oh, awesome. I guess we probably have time to do one more screen, and then we can probably just jump into prototyping a couple of different interactions. So we have our menu screen, profile, and meal plan overview left.
What are you thinking?
I'm actually thinking from prototyping purposes. I think I might do a meal plan. I mean, we are designing a meal plan app, so why not do a meal plan?
I guess so.
That is kind of important, yeah. Okay. Let's grab in our screen.
We do have about 30 minutes left of our stream today. We are designing the final screen that we're going to be doing today for this meal planning app that Elsa has been creating. We've been taking the wireframes that she created already before today's stream and applying the visual design to it, the colors, typography, and imagery that she's selected. And now she's just going through and changing out the original text that was there into this new text, which I didn't know this font. Manguera.
Yeah.
Which is a lovely font, nice and circular, like the plates.
Yep.
Ooh, hey, there we go. Remember someone was like, oh, is circular mean something? When I was looking at that first screen you have, like the plates are very round and like, I see round shapes. Nice round font for the round plate.
Exactly. We're keeping with the round theme.
And then the round buttons, the round iconography, everything's round. Round is friendly. Sharp edges are not so friendly, but round is friendly.
Exactly. Round is friendly. So that's what we're going to go with. So right now we're doing our meal plan page. And so we have our plan name. I'm going to assume that this is probably, thinking of how I would do it, I'd probably do a new plan every month. So this is going to be my August meals plan. I wonder if you could add in emojis to XD. Moment of truth. No, okay, you can't. Darn. It's gonna add in like a little emoji. I can probably like search for one though.
Is there an emoji? Oh no, I was like, is there an emoji plugin that I don't know about?
There might be. I just don't have it, unfortunately.
I'll research that.
We're emoji-less.
What I've done in the past is just like Google searched a certain emoji, like a transparent image, and dropped it in, but it's not the fastest process. So
that's also a good way of doing it. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be, actually, I'm going to recreate this. We're going to be, for this screen, it'll be like a weekly overview. So ideally there would be weekly and monthly, you know, just to give people options. So this screen is going to be our weekly meal overview. So we have our, is this 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7 days of the week. Let me just write things out. Okay, so we'll make this, actually, I think I want to make it white. Let's make this white and probably just make this 12 pixels. And here I'm thinking probably have the day of the week. So this would be Monday. And I actually make this 11 pixels for Monday. Awesome. And then I'm just going to group that and then drag it. So Tuesday is today. I think we said it's Tuesday in our app somewhere. Somewhere it says. So we're going to say that for the current day, we can use our nice little orange color instead.
I just love that orange color so much. I don't know. It's like not a common orange I see, and I want to use it now for everything. I'm gonna write down that code right now. Remember it.
It is a really nice orange. I agree.
Loving it. It's like very fall too, and I'm like getting excited for fall to come. So I'm a fall girl.
Ooh, I'm a summer girl, so I guess I'm getting sad. Summer's almost over.
It is.
She's just sad.
Just kidding.
She's like, oh, bye.
Bye, summer. No, I love summer too. And we live by the beach, and today we're going to go to the beach after work, and it's still quite hot out. So it's like nice You only get that during summer where you can like go into the water after work. So it's like kind of special.
Exactly. Yeah. Cute summer vibes.
Mm-hmm. That orange could be a summer vibe if it was mixed with a different other, like not with purple. It could be like with blue, and it could still be summer vibes too, actually.
I agree.
So versatile.
Which is the funny thing about colors. Like as you mix and match them, they have like different themes.
Yeah, different feels.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so our nice, lovely Tuesday meal plan. So we had chicken wings for breakfast and spicy ramen for lunch. And for dinner, I wonder what do I have here?
Can we just do double spicy ramen?
We like the spicy ramen so much. No, I don't think I have.
I've gone to 2 ramen places in the same day before. That's pretty awful because it's so heavy.
Yeah. I can imagine like ramen twice. It's so good though. I can't even blame you. It's really good.
Ramen for lunch.
Let's say we're gonna have donuts.
Ooh. That would be under the decadent, I think. It looks like it from that picture.
Yum. This is a decadent dessert.
Just like that word decadent. Decadent. Sounds like what it is. It's decadent.
It sounds so dramatic.
Decadent.
Literally. Like, wow. Okay. That's like 8:30 p.m. Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
So this is like one of my average meal days, just like the unhealthiest meal ever.
What I eat on the regular. Oh my god. Okay, this is week. This. And then so we're gonna do like what are they called? The toggle buttons. We're doing the toggle button.
Oh.
Idea. Smaller. Okay, so this is week. Actually, it's a bit longer. And then ideally the user could toggle between week and month. I have a month over here too. Okay, and I actually might make this orange because we already have purple for our buttons, so let's use orange for our nice little toggle.
That's why it's good to have a couple colors, right? Like for that instance, because it's hard to differentiate the 2 buttons and they're
exactly. And then add in our little bottom navigation. We just want to make sure that we switch this to being the active icon.
Yeah, because Elsa has active states and inactive states, and she's using filled in versus outline icons for that.
Yep, exactly. So just an overview of everything we've done so far. So I have our nice little home screen with like upcoming meals and meals to explore. And then we have our search screen if you're searching for a recipe. So we have like categories and then recommendations, popular category blocks over here. Then of course we have our individual recipe screen. So for the most advanced chicken soup, that takes 2 days with some ingredients and 3 steps with more incoming. And of course we have our meal plan, which is just kind of a detailed overview of everything that you are probably going to eat in the day. And you can switch between week and monthly views. So yeah, we've got quite a bit done.
Beautiful. What a beautiful, friendly app. I love it.
Yay.
Just love it.
I do too. So now we're going to get to the fun part. Well, I think the design was fun too, but the funner part, which is prototyping. So I'm gonna start out with probably some simple ones. So you'll notice that in our these blocks here for explore and recommendations, and I think that's the only part we've used it. It's like two that you can see and then one kind of off screen. So it would be cool if we could actually scroll and see the ones off screen, because that's ideally how it would work. And how you can do that in XD is using scroll groups. So I'm just gonna select the 3 elements and scroll groups you can turn on here. So you can do, oops, wrong ones, these ones, horizontal or vertical scroll groups. So we're gonna go with horizontal here. And I'm just gonna use the handlebars to increase the area I want our little groups to appear in. And now you can see it scrolls. Easy peasy. Easy. So now you can scroll all the way from the left and all the way to the right. So if we added more to our little group here, they would appear. So, but we only have 3 for now. So yeah, and I'll do that for this as well. Turn that into a scroll group. The same concept here too.
I love how easy it is to use that feature. It's one of my favorite prototyping features because it's like, oh, now it's interactive. Look at you. And it's like an easy win in life. We need those easy wins in life, you know?
We do need those easy ones. I agree. Okay, awesome. So now I think, so we have this search screen, and from our search screen, we have our chicken soup recipe. So why not prototype what the transition would be like from clicking a meal to the actual meal recipe screen. So I'm gonna do that there. And actually when I'm prototyping, I actually like to duplicate my artboards and then prototype it separately, just because I'm playing around with it initially. And then when I finalize on what I wanted to do, I then would go back and add it to the originals. I don't know if I'm the only one that does this. I'm just scared of like messing up my original screens.
You might be the only one in the world who does this, I think. No, just kidding. She's the only one. Show us your tricks. I like these little Elsa design tricks. So you create the same artboards again, so you can kind of play around with it and it doesn't like mess up the original designs. And then you go back and redo it again. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, depending, if you have like 50 screens to prototype, you should not do this. But if you have like 4, then, you know, why not?
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like, especially if you have a lot of complexity in your prototyping,
yes,
it might be nice to like, when you're playing around and figuring things out, I think that's a great tip.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So like, okay, I'm already thinking that it would be cool for the image to enlarge. I'm probably just going to keep it simple. So we can have our little, oh, it's actually, the name is so wrong. It's the most advanced. There's not enough space, so we're going to put dots. The most advanced chicken soup is our name. So when we click onto this, probably everything else fades out and then our image pops in or like enlarges, and then we can have this little block here of information just slide up in. So that's like pretty straightforward.
Oh, she's got a vision. Let's see it happen.
Vision.
I'm gonna see some advanced prototyping right now.
Oh my god, see our little
so what are you doing here?
Rectangle.
Everything's gone.
So right. Everything's gone because we're going to be using auto animate. So you need to like show it or like, how would you say, lay out what you want the elements to do. So I want, when I click this, the elements fade out first and then the image enlarges. So it's kind of like a 2-step. It can't be like bam, bam. We need like a screen in the middle first.
Oh, I see.
So in our second screen, everything should, so opacity to 0. I'm gonna need to ungroup this as well. I'm gonna turn on layers because we wanna make sure our layer names are the same. As you can see, I haven't named any of my layers, so this actually would be pretty annoying to then have to go back and prototype and make sure the layer names are the same, but it's good practice to probably just name your layers. Then you don't have to worry about that. hide that, and I'll hide that. And actually, I will ungroup this because I also want the text to be hidden. So everything disappears. And we're going to test that first before we even move on. So if I click this, it should go to this page. So I just dragged the prototyping arrow to my next screen. And then trigger is tab, which we want. Action type is auto animate. Easing, we'll probably just do ease in and out. And I don't want it to be too fast. So we're going to go with 1 second. And let's see how that looks. Oh, not bad.
Oh, okay. So they're all there and then it's like fading out.
And then it's fading out.
And then what you did was you just took the same elements and you just changed the opacity to 0 on that second artboard.
Yeah, so they're all still there. We just can't see them. Okay, so now this, I'm actually gonna name this perhaps chicken soup, because I want to make sure that you see here it had a different layer name. So if we had tried to animate it, it wouldn't have done what we wanted. So we need to make sure that these images are the same. That way it actually enlarges in size. And then I'm gonna grab, let me just unlock, whoops. Unlock our rectangle and group that. So now I'm just grouping this little card thing here because I want that to slide in. We need to make sure it's a group first. And now, so actually let me grab these as well and group them. Okay, so a couple different steps that we're gonna have here. So first thing what we need to do is we're gonna grab our 2 icons at the top here. So the arrow icon and the heart icon, and we want those to kind of appear, probably just fade in. So we want to make sure that they're on our second screen, opacity 0, and then on our third screen they're opacity 100, so it'll seem like they're fading in. So that's step 1. Step 2, of course, is we want to grab our little text column here and paste it into our second screen, but we want to move it a bit lower so that it animates like it's sliding upwards on our third one. And actually, I wonder if I should make it. I'm gonna try without changing the opacity, so just having it slide in, and then with changing the opacity and kind of see what it looks like. Oh, but one final thing is you'll notice that because I decreased the height of my artboard, this element is no longer on my artboard. And that's also because we haven't set auto animate between our second screen and our third screen. So we have to do that first before anything else. So this will be a timed trigger, 0 seconds. And let's say we'll do 1 for that. Okay, and I'll just copy this again and move it down. Ooh, and it's already doing it for us because our preview window is open. Maybe she started from the beginning. Awesome.
So cute.
Yay. Okay. Wonderful. I actually might just leave my component. I think it needs to be. Oh, okay. Let me just make sure that it's on top of the screen and all of them. Same with these. The positioning of your layers can also be like a bit tricky. So you want to make sure that everything that's supposed to be on top is on top on each screen, and everything that's supposed to be on the bottom is at the bottom of each screen. So if we preview this again. And so that's like an idea of how we could animate into our nice little recipe screen.
Oh, so smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just really makes the whole app come to life.
It does. I wonder what would happen if we like linked it back to the first one. I don't know. It's probably going to be crazy, but let's see. Oh, dang. No, we have to like do a, I was like, no, that's not what we wanted. Oh my God. We'd have to do like a separate little prototyping segment for that. But this is not too bad. And we can of course play around with like Snap. I don't use Snap a lot. I've used Snap a bit, but you do have to increase the duration with this one because it's snappy, hence the name. Like it's exactly. It's like pretty quick. But I wanted that little bounce effect. Oh, cute. Okay. Awesome. So we have a little animation done.
Yay! That was really
Yay.
fast.
Oh my gosh, I wonder if we have how much time we have. Should we have time to menu screen or do people have questions?
You have about 5 minutes, 7 minutes left. Wait, but you didn't prototype everything yet, right?
No, I didn't. I'm wondering if there is like a prototyping method for these other screens. Let's see. So, okay, we can do home screen to search screen. That could be an option. Okay, so if we click the search button, how does it appear? Sometimes I like to do slide in animations. So here's a crash course in prototyping in 5 to 7 minutes, I guess, because that's the time we have. Quick and easy. Okay, let me move these. So we need an in-between screen again. So I'm gonna fade everything out and then move this in to search, and then all of these, probably just group them and paste them here and move them to the right and set them opacity to 0. So what we're gonna hopefully try and achieve is these elements fading out and then these elements fading and sliding in. And our little search icon here, because it's the same in both screens, is gonna go from right to left. So let's see how that looks in prototype mode. So if we click this, it'll go here. And we're just gonna do an ease in out 0.8 second transition, and then from here to here can be a timed transition of like probably 1 second. And let's see if that works. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's a pretty quick and easy transition.
Nice. And you did that so fast. So let's do a little breakdown, because it was like you obviously have done this transition before. You're an expert on it. Yeah, let's walk through that again.
Yeah, okay, sure. So we have our first screen, and we duplicated that's hence home 2 in our second screen. So we have all our home screen elements still here, but we've set them to opacity 0. So because we want them to fade out. So this is kind of like our in-between transition speed. So all our elements from our first screen are still here, but they've been set to opacity 0. Then we took our elements from our final screen, so where we are trying to go to, which is the search screen. And I grouped them just to make it easier because it's a lot of elements. I grouped all the elements together and I copied them onto my home screen, but then I set them as opacity 0. So you can see that they're still here. It's just that you can't see them. And I moved them slightly to the right as well so that we can get that slide in transition as well that we're looking for. So that's what we're going for.
So
if
like
I
everything in
delete
the first
this,
one is going away, and then everything coming in from the new screen is sliding in a little bit and appearing. So you kind of have a lot of
yes,
steps in one screen, but it feels like kind of, pretty seamless there. Just like, boop. Doesn't
yeah.
seem like so much
So
has
it's
happened when you look at it.
it does seem like so much has happened. I agree with that. But yeah, it's just really a matter of it's nice to have that in between screen. I mean, you don't need it
Mhm.
if you want like an instant transition, but I like things to like fade out a bit of white and then something new fades in. So
Yeah.
that's
It
kind of
helps to
just,
really
yeah.
understand that something's new's happened, a new transition, a new
Yes.
page, something's different. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a nice visual indication.
exactly. So that's like
All
another
right.
quick tip for that.
So we've got just another couple minutes. If you, I'm not sure if you want to put pieces together, if there's any final screens you wanted to prototype.
Yeah. I'm gonna put them together. So we have our home screen to search screen and then search screen to recipe screen. So we can put all those in together. I can actually delete this one and copy these and bring them up. So if we go into prototype mode, we want to make sure we add in a new times transition here. And then we still have our transition here. So really the only screen that we haven't prototyped is our meal plan overview, sadly, but the others are all linked. So if we test that out, let me bring in our preview screen here. So we go into search. Ooh, we forgot to do a little fade out thing. So one of the things I mentioned about layers, once again, is remember that I had my two search screens that I duplicated just to test out the prototype. So because the layer name no longer matches, this is a group, these are all individual elements, instead of doing the slide in animation, it just fades in because it doesn't recognize that these are the same things. So we are gonna have to go back and copy this as a group. That way the layer name, so if we name this group 487, is the same as in our transition screen 487. And now we have that nice slide in effect that we wanted. Okay.
So the layer
And then,
name didn't transfer over, the change of the layer name. So we need to make sure that those are exactly the same and the groups are the same, or the grouping is the same. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like quite a bit. It's like you have to, which is why I feel like best practices is definitely to just name your layers. Don't stress yourself out, especially if you're going to be prototyping, and just name your layers in advance. And it tends to work out that way.
Yeah, but who does that? I don't know. I certainly don't name all of my layers and groups. I'm like definitely a messy designer.
I think most people don't. So like we're all like you should, but we don't.
We should.
But like,
we all know we should.
should.
We all know we should be more like organized in life, right? But
oh, it like moved a bit. But yeah, a meal planning app. Very cool, interesting concept. And now I'm starving, so that's something. Now we're all hungry.
is this is that what did you finalize everything for the prototype?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Yeah. So maybe if you can just give us a little recap and show us the final work that you have here.
So let me actually turn off layout grid so we can see everything clearly. So in designing our meal app today, we have our home screen with just a couple of upcoming meals featured and like a different couple meals to explore as well with our little bottom navigation. And then I'll come back to the transition screens, but then we also have a search screen that we did. So we have some categories, subcategories rather, and recommendations, dessert categories at the bottom as well. We did a recipe screen, actually open preview to scroll. So this is our advanced chicken soup recipe with ingredients and instructions. And of course, we have our meal plan overview too. So for example, on Tuesday, this is what we have planned to eat. And you can like create a new plan. You can view it by weekly or monthly. But yeah, these are a couple of the different screens that we've managed to do. And in prototyping, so we prototypes going from home screen to search to recipe screen. So if we click our search icon up here, it'll fade out and bring in our search screen. And like say we wanted to view the recipe for, well, not turmeric salmon, it's actually chicken soup. But let's say we wanted to view the recipe for chicken soup, we'd click that and yeah, it kind of pop in like this. And then we can look at our chicken soup recipe.
Yay!
Yay, we actually did everything. Oh my God, we accomplished everything on our checklist.
You did the design focus, the style guide, you worked on the designs, and you did prototyping all in 2 hours. That's amazing. Thank you so much for showing us this process and showing us how you work. You had such great tips and things that I had never seen or heard before that I think is really helpful for people, especially as they're just getting started in XD and as well as for experts alike. So thank you so much for sharing that and for creating such beautiful designs in such a short period of time and showing that it's, it can be done. It can be done and you can do it too, guys. Just follow Elsa's steps.
Exactly. No, this was fun.
Yeah, amazing. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for joining live and for watching the replay. And stick around. Join Weekend Creative, actually, as they create mock-ups of their editorial photo shoot in Adobe Illustrator before they head into the studio. And following the boot camp, join Cloudy from Print My Soul for another episode of how to learn how to create an artistic collage using a combination of images in Photoshop. All right. Again, thank you guys so much. And we hope to see you for the next stream. All the best. Goodbye. Thanks, Elsa. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.